Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. You're going to be hearing cats running and jumping and scratching. They have the before bed sillies and zoomies going on right now. Okay, let's see. As you can tell, maybe it's your first time watching, but if you've seen other readings, you might be able to tell that we're using a different tea. And again, I forgot to go look at what it was. I was going to go look in between readings and I forgot. But it was something that is something hazelberry. So it has hazelberry in it. But I forget what the actual tea is called. I will post a picture of it in the community post tomorrow when I put these out. Or I guess the day after when they come out. Okay, let's see. So I want to look at this card because it kind of gives the kind of theme or energy, kind of the flavor of the reading. And in this particular reading, we have a little bit of what on there? Okay, we have the Lovers. Okay, so this is a really pretty card, right? It's from the Thoth deck. It is all about the unification of opposites. It is just about kind of, an actualization of different parts of self. Okay, being able to integrate even the parts of self that are difficult, the shadow, and so on. This is part of the higher mysteries. Okay, this is also called the chemical wedding. We have the Orphic egg at the bottom here. Okay, and that is the knowledge of the creation of new forms, new ideas, new spirit, and just overall a really, really pretty card there. Okay, so with the Lovers in mind, and this does not have to be like about romantic love. I know that's kind of like where our minds go when we see this card. Hopefully a union between two perfectly matched beings, right? Yeah, and I hope that maybe that if that is what you're looking for, I do hope that that is something that you find. In this case, I don't know. I don't necessarily see anything that looks like a romantic heart, but what I do, although this one does kind of look like a heart. I was going to say there's like no hearts in this, but as I proved myself wrong. So we do have a heart formation right here, okay? And it looks like it almost has like a root growing out of the bottom of it. So this actually might be a very enduring kind of love. Is it romantic? I don't know. I actually don't get that vibe at all. But I think that it is something beyond beyond a romance, something more like an unconditional love, right? A love that spans lifetimes, possibly. The love that could come between or could be alive between family members, like parents and children, siblings in some cases. These kinds of love, these relationships where love has the potential to be endless, indestructible, undisrupted. You know, I mean, you know, personally, it's silly because people say this, you know, and you're like, okay, I didn't have a child until I was in my mid-30s, so I obviously had loved before, but I had no concept of love like that until I had my daughter. But and this come with me on this journey. But I did have glimpses of love outside of romantic love that were very powerful. And I want to look at this one right here. It looks like the goddess Bastet. Okay, a cat. Very very good posture this cat has, and it is kind of looking this way, very kind of regal, like a goddess would, right? And so this kind of leads me in the direction of the love that we have with our fur family, our fur children, possibly, the animals that we encounter. Maybe they are not the ones that live in our home. Maybe they are not the ones that we feed, if they don't live in the home, but we are feeding them in the backyard, or, you know, whatever. I know in the city a lot of people feed cats and things to help them out, and or birds, right? And so anyways, these are not our pets. I always feel guilty saying that, our pets. Like, in my experience with the cats that I have lived with, it is more that they allow me to be in their lives versus me being their owner, or, you know, their pet parent or whatever. So I think that the relationship that can be cultivated between us and animals, and us and greater nature, it's bizarre that we've come to a place that we're so disconnected. We think of nature as this thing that we kind of come in and out of, or that we live alongside, right? And when we are just another element within nature, the the greater environment that we are allowed, that we are, you know, privileged to live in. And that separation is, it gets me, because I fall into it constantly. You know, I do it myself, but anyways, so these animals that we encounter, these animals that allow us to live in their homes with them, these animals that let us visit their yards, these animals that reveal themselves to us, let us see them, let us live alongside them. These animals teach us lessons that we maybe have no expectation of learning from them. Maybe, you know, not ever, not even things that we don't even know that we need to learn. Okay. And I want to look at, I know there's some more animals in here. I want to look at, I promise I'll find something. Oh, where did you go? Oh, it's the same one. It's turned over. So we have the bird here. And it's hard to say, but we also have the swan, or duck, maybe swan, duck. We have these these animals too, which I usually kind of refer to this kind of grouping of wild animals or wild birds as our backyard spirits, those visitors that bring us blessings. And when they allow us to interact with them or to see them, to witness them, to hear their songs, they are bringing good tidings to us. But the things that we can learn from being alongside, being actively engaged with, for me, it's my cats. Not my cats. They're human, I guess. But the cats that I have lived with have taught me so much, especially, I will say, especially when I lived alone for years. Like, it was just me and cats. And yes, I know how that sounds. I'm like definitely a cat lady at heart. But I learned really just the first things that I started to really notice about them when my life was very quieted by the circumstances shifting, and suddenly I was alone, and I was, just really only engaging with these beautiful creatures. And I started to really notice that, they live to sustain themselves. They want their basic needs met, right? These are the most important things. But they also live for their little pleasures. It's not big stuff. It's like laying in the sun, grooming themselves, grooming each other, cuddling, stealing your body heat, and these are kind of mixed into basic needs and pleasures, right? But I really did learn so much about just finding the blessings in the subtle, in lowering my expectations about what I need, what I want, especially what I want, okay? And just working with minimal stimuli, and I guess also just kind of minimal, what would the word be? Kind of input from outside sources, just really finding happiness in what was immediately available to me. Okay. The other thing, patience. Okay. Something that we all can work on. Animals have such patience. They reserve their energy because instinctually they're not going to burn calories where they don't need to. But there are just so many long periods of waiting for things to happen. And it might be something that is so little and so brief. And I will say, for one of my housemates, Pudgy, he sits at the window for hours waiting for this neighborhood cat who comes to sit on the front stoop. He doesn't go outside. He's actually almost 15, and he just... I worry about him. He didn't, grow up in a rural area like this, but I think there are a lot more opportunities for him to get himself in trouble. So I do keep him in, but he waits for this cat, who is an outside cat, and she comes and she sits. And she actually is outside, inside. I know the people that she lives with. But, so anyways, she comes briefly, but he will wait for hours for her. And they say hello through the window. And, that is like just the epitome of patience. And he just has such a love for this other cat. And, it's just something to... it's something that is heartwarming to me. The ability to endure this long wait in between so that they may meet and have their brief kind of, fleeting experience with one another. Some of the other things, just the devotion that relates into what we were just talking about. Consideration for one another, which depending on what kind of animal you have, I mean, they're not super considerate, obviously. These are human attributes that I'm kind of putting on the cat. But these are things that I learned just by experiencing how they live, okay? So it is through the paradigm of a human, right? But just the consideration that goes into how they kind of lead their lives, their routines, you know, who is allowed to lay where at what time of day, and who's going to go and eat first when the food gets put out, and then, you know, who will go after that. And, you know, it's just kind of there's a very delicate dance that happens. And you can see that there's a lot of consideration into how that happens to keep the harmony of the household. And that's something that we all should really figure out for ourselves if we want to live a life that is functional, enjoyable, or at least just periods of content, right? Just being able to quietly kind of sail through those like calmer water periods, okay? And I promise I'm going to keep going here. We have this little monkey that's hanging, and I'm thinking of, I think they're the little, are they the finger monkeys? Is that what they're called? The little ones. And they have the little tail, and they just curl around and hang off of the little branch or whatever. But the energy is just, you know, letting go of this need to be in that like higher developed thinking that we as humans have all the time. Sometimes we just need to go back to those more instinctual, kind of more naive places that my cat, she's over here knocking things over. And this is this is like the perfect time for me to exercise, just letting it go. Just do as you will. And so anyways, yeah, just really not just enjoying, it's just letting go of the need to control the uncontrollable. Okay, like we have enough things that we have in our life daily that we have to decide on. We have to, you know, get everything ready, set up, aligned in such a way that it's going to work out, and then, you know, hope that the universe is going to agree with us that these things can get done in the way that we need them to. And usually we're mostly pretty successful, right? But sometimes we have to just let things be absurd, let things be chaotic, let things be loud and messy and silly and you know, whatever they are. And that's really the energy. I think that is going to be important for you to kind of take that thought, put it in your front pocket there. And I know we're Virgos. This is like the worst, sometimes the worst, right? I need to schedule when I'm going to feel this way. That's like really how Virgo it gets, right? I'm going to block out a little piece of time that I'm going to get real silly. But yeah, I think, you know, take this with you in this next week cycle or so, and just, you know, maybe work on trying to have moments where we just, okay, we're just gonna let the things be, let them be a little wild, let them be a little messy. Okay, and I want to look at this one. It looks like a person holding kind of, or tied to the moon up here. And that's such an interesting image to me, having a string tied to the crescent moon. And it really, I feel like in this context of this reading, for me, what it really indicates is this kind of energy of being grounded. Okay, you're standing on the ground, but you are very much tied to this like night side lunar energy, kind of a little bit of the warped emotional tides coming through, probably nighttime, night side messaging coming through. I almost wonder if, and I'm seeing this single piece right here, it makes me think that there's almost kind of like a solitary, kind of lonely feeling presence orbiting you in some way. It seems like it's almost trying to like penetrate your consciousness. And I feel like this could be through like dreams. It could be through, just kind of uncanny feelings that are happening around your house, or, just in your daily life, just a feeling of something, maybe the presence of something. But I think that this is important for you to not be afraid, but to kind of put your psychic shields up, maybe do some kind of like psychic self-defense. Whatever you use, I've talked about these things before. If you are, a person that uses sigils, if you maybe are a little more complex in your talisman use, or, just really cleansing, doing a cleansing ritual on yourself, on your home, protective kinds of tactics, whatever those might look like for you, using your relationship with a guardian deity, house deities, house spirits that are protective. So like portal, window, door spirits, these kinds of things. Leaving some kind of offering to them, reorienting them, whatever it is, making appeals to your guardian angel, or daemon, whatever is helpful to you, however you relate to that. Okay, there are a lot of different ways you could do this, but I think it's important to just beware of wandering spirits and, protect your power. Make sure that those things are not getting in easily, and if you are encountering them, that you are prepared, right? You don't want anything kind of hooking itself onto you. Okay, we also have this like really pretty H. I like how it's so long and then just a little loop there. So we have a lowercase h, and we also have a lowercase r over here. And this is higher in that emotional psychic space, but going up into that more metaphysical space too. So I feel like these could be somebody that you're thinking about, or like something that it could be more than where it's maybe this has to do with somebody that's watching over you, or like a guardian angel, like maybe their sacred name starts with an H or an R, or together, something with an H and an R. Anyways, that energy is very present. Okay. And if it is somebody you've been thinking about, definitely, I think reaching out to them, because they are so present in your mind right now, it would be a good time to check in with them. Okay. And then I wanted to look at this one because it's so pretty. We have this figure that looks like Anubis, okay? And it looks like it's holding a box. We have the head here, right? Kind of a dog ear here. The body, and then kind of arm out holding a box. Below it, it looks like, let's see if we can, it looks like a person on their hands and knees. It almost looks like they're in kind of crawling or worshipful, devotive kind of posture, okay? Almost like washing a floor kind of thing, or just bowing deeply. Okay. So this is interesting that, it just seems so clear of an image to me. If Anubis happens to be somebody that is, like a important consciousness, stream of consciousness for you, or archetype or deity, I think that this is a good time to like make an offering, activate that relationship. If this is something that maybe you don't know that much about, Anubis is the jackal-headed god, an Egyptian deity. He is a psychopomp that kind of leads you into the underworld so that you may have your soul weighed or judged, basically. And so, in this posture of these two, kind of a devotee and the deity, but also holding a box in this kind of holding it out or carefully carrying it, makes me feel like this is some kind of gift. Okay. And I think that this is very much tied to, in some ways, the imagery of the person kind of tied to the crescent moon. I really think that there will be a big shift in your consciousness and dream world, to this kind of real night side, in between kind of borderlands type energy. I think that you will have a lot of really potent uploads or downloads or whatever people call them, information, knowledge kind of being revealed to you. Now, are you going to retain all of it? I don't know, especially if it is in a dream space. This is where we get into kind of some of those lucid dreaming type techniques, or building into lucid dreaming, where you're taking a lot of notes as soon as you wake up about your dreams. You are trying to remember how you feel, the things you encountered, maybe some of the concepts, narratives, the variables, the different intelligences that you interact with. Okay. So I think this is a good time, if you have been doing this, or if you have tried it in the past, or if it's new to you, make sure that you get a pad of paper or a journal or your phone. I don't suggest your phone so much if you're taking notes in the middle of the night, just because it wakes you up, right? The screen does. So if you can just have like a notepad, you do not have to write anything coherent. You could be just scribbling symbols. It does not matter. The purpose, really, beyond having a documentation, is that it starts to get your mind oriented in a way that you are going to retain more information. You're going to bed thinking, I want to remember and bring back some of the things that I'm learning in these spaces. I want to remember some of my encounters. I want to remember some of the players in my, in my scenarios and ordeals. And so, excuse me. And so I think that this is really a symbol that this is going to be a perfect time to be doing this kind of work, and really a most blessed dream period, which is exciting to me. As I tell you every time I have a Virgo reading, I am a Virgo. So I try not to favor the Virgo readings, but when I see things like this, I'm super excited because I am all about that dream work. My dreams are so important to me. My dream life is so important to me. I would say this is my most important magical laboratory. And so when I know that I might be going into a cycle of dreams that will be meaningful and definitely patroned by an underside or night side or borderland intelligence like Anubis, that is like really great, great news. So let's see what else we have here. Okay. And we have this kind of little being here. It looks like right out in the middle of the galaxy, we have this beautiful kind of conjunction of, it looks like 3 or 4, maybe 3 little celestial bodies, although there are the other ones spread out all over the place. But these ones are very prominent. Okay, so let's look for the 3 celestial bodies that are really kind of affecting our makeup. And whatever time you view this reading, it could be as soon as it comes out, it could be 3 months from now. So just go ahead and kind of check out what is in the sky right now, especially if there are any planets or celestial bodies that are really coming into a very viewable state. And, you know, how are those affecting you? So that's, I think, the important... If you turn it this way, it looks like the little person is kind of pointing up. So I really think good time to be looking at the sky, right? Going out there, viewing some stars if you can, and planets and whatever else is up there. I'm sure there are all kinds of beautiful things, meteors and, you know, UFOs or whatever, space junk and so on. So get out there and enjoy the great unknown. All right. Well, I think that's our reading for tonight. And I just want to let you know, I appreciate your time so much. And I'm always so honored to be able to bring you these messages. It really is a great joy to me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get into the algorithm, and we are slowly building the channel up. We just got over 6K subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. There are quite a few of you who have been here since the earliest days and continue to support and have the sweetest, nicest things to say, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you are not subscribed, please think about doing that. You know, at the very least, you'll know when the next videos are coming out. And we're on a schedule right now where I am reading once a week for each sign. So every sign will be read for. In the meantime, between now and 7 days from now, when the next Virgo comes out, you can watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising, Venus, and cross-watching. I didn't know that was a thing, but it makes sense, and I fully support it. So if you want to cross-watch, go and check out, you know, your loved one's signs. And other than that, if you want to leave a comment, please do that and let me know how you're doing and what's going on with you. I'd love to hear all about your beloved animals, and you know, what things have you learned from them. I mean, it just it's endless education, isn't it? And other than that, thank you so much. I am so excited to continue to see where our Virgo readings are headed. All right. Thank you. We'll talk again very soon.